Next Village San Francisco is a local nonprofit providing services and support that empower seniors to live independently in their own homes. We welcome people who want to keep connected with their community as members, volunteers, and supporters. We host 30 to 40 free activities and events each month for the public, and our members have access to our network of volunteers. Learn more and get involved at nextvillagesf.org. We hope you enjoy this video.
Yeah, I've been booking some things in California for a road trip in July.
Awesome. Okay, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
So there's a couple different ways you could go about it. The first one is probably the most popular that everyone's familiar with. That's Airbnb. So this is a whole collection of things, everything from a small room in a house that's occupied by an individual or family, all the way up to entire properties. And everything in between. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking for, how much you want to spend, and where you're headed. You don't need an account to do just a generic search, but I am signed into mine. So for example, I am going up to Sonoma for a wedding in just a few weeks here, and we need to find a place to stay. So I just usually start on Airbnb, and here we can they make it pretty easy. You just head to the top and you can search where you want to go, your check-in dates, and you can add the number of guests and pets and things like such. You can also search by region as well. So if you just want to see options for example, Mexico, you could do that. And then you could do a couple different filters like dates and price and things like that. So a less specific search. But for this case, I'm saying we're going to go out to Sonoma, and then I need to find a place the 20th to 23rd. They also have options to change for exact dates, or if you want to do plus or minus a couple of days, it'll show you price options, right? So they might say like, hey, if you check in at this date and out at this date, it might be cheaper. So I'll go plus or minus 1 day, and then select the adults. So it's 4 of us. And then if you have any pets or things like that, and then you just go to search. And then on the left side, you'll see the individual listings. And on the right, you'll see a map. Off of the map, you can kind of click around and move it. And then it searches in that particular area. So for example, if I wanted to expand my search out, I can zoom out a little bit. And now this entire map area is captured. And you can see here the different listing prices for that area. So we're going to go in just a little bit here. And so we want to stay in this area. And then it'll now show you there's 81 homes available in this time frame for this map area here. There's a couple different things you can look at. Primarily, you notice there's this top of each thumbnail, there's what's called a superhost, and that's somebody who has been vetted and has a certain number of positive ratings on the Airbnb platform. So that means that they are just a superhost. Their houses are probably up to a better standard. They have more rigorous cleaning standards. They're a good communicator on the platform and things like that. So they're just overall just a good host to work with. So let's say that we wanted to head into this property, since I want a pool, and you can click into it and you can see all of the different options, right? You can read the different reviews. So you can see that the user has an average of 4.9 stars out of 5, pretty good. And then you can read the different reviews there. You can see here's all the reviews of the places. And you can only leave a review after you've been verified that you've stayed here, right? So you don't have to worry about someone faking reviews or things like that. It can only come after you stay and you've verified that you've actually stayed at this property. So these reviews are always pretty honest. So you do that, and then you can look through the different property details here. Obviously, there's a whole gallery of photos. Everyone kind of has a lot of photos that highlight all the pictures of the property in the house. And then you can see the various fine details down here. So it's a self check-in. That means that they'll provide you with probably a keypad for the door. And then you can see the options like a free cancellation before this date at this time. Otherwise, the owner sets their own cancellation policy. So if they say, some of them might not allow you to cancel at all, or some of them say you can cancel 24 hours before. So always pay attention to here, because that's a good thing to work your booking off in case something happens. And then here you can see the breakdown of the cost. There is the base nightly price. There's always going to be a cleaning fee pretty much. It's based off of the size of the house. You can see it's pretty expensive. This is a large property. They're going to charge you $300 for cleaning. And then the Airbnb service fee based off of the size and the cost of the property. This is $464. So you can see all together, the entire price to stay at this property is $3,749. And that's for the 19th to 22nd. So pretty expensive. And you can see in here that it kind of gives you like a little tip. Oftentimes, if you're booking short notice or way ahead, it'll say like, hey, these prices are on average for this area, higher or lower right now. So you kind of get an idea if you should wait or if you should book this. You can see what the place offers, and then all of the different reviews, and then where on a map you're staying, and then a little bit about the host herself. You can see that she's a pretty reputable host. She has 317 reviews and things like that. I will call out that you always want to chat with a host inside of Airbnb. Never let anybody tell you to email them or reach out to them on a different platform, because that way you're not covered under Airbnb's policies. So if someone says, hey, I see you're interested in the house, email me here and I can give you a better deal, I would highly, highly advise against not doing that, because if something goes wrong, or if there's if they charge you fraudulently or something like that, Airbnb will not cover you on that. So even though there is a fee for the platform, never let anybody talk to you or communicate with payment outside of Airbnb. It's very dangerous, and you will get screwed for sure. So this is Airbnb, and then you can share the link here. So if you hit share, you can see there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can do the copy the link, or you can email them. You can email it to somebody. If you wanted to share it with some friends or something that you're going on vacation with, you can grab the link from here. Most of the time, you will see just the option to reserve it. This is a soft hold, basically. So it then goes to the owner and they can accept or decline your booking. Everybody has their own profile. So you can see my profile. I've rented many houses over the years, so I have a certain profile. The owner of the house can see that, other people that have reviewed me as a guest. So basically they reserve the right to decline you if maybe you have bad reviews or things like that. So this reserve option goes to them for review, and they can either accept it or decline it. 99% of the time they're gonna accept it, unless you are maybe a problem person on the platform. The only alternative to that is you will see in certain times and certain locations, you'll have this option. I can't see one here, but you'll see it says instant book, which means it doesn't require the landlord or the owner to approve you. You can book it immediately on the platform, and it's guaranteed to be your spot. so that you'll see just up here, it'll be a part of the property. It'll say instant book, and that way, and it's not available everywhere. I've only done it a few times. It's not as common, but you can see here. Yeah, I can't find any. The last thing I'll highlight.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
go
I
for
was just saying you might be able to filter by with instant book as an option. I don't know. They used to have something where it was like you could filter by superhost. So I don't know if that's
Yeah, there you go. You're right.
nice.
So here, but that's weird. It's not showing.
That is weird.
The filters enabled.
That might be a bug with Airbnb.
Yeah, that's weird. Weird. The last thing you'll notice here is this plus. So there's the Superhost, there's an instant book, and there's also a plus. So this is kind of an Airbnb differentiator. If it's plus, means that it has been vetted by Airbnb in person. So a representative from Airbnb comes out to that property, inspects it, and it's up to a certain quality. And you can see here a little bit more about what that means. So they verify that all the amenities and the pictures are accurate. They actually take professional photos of the property. And so it's kind of a more elevated experience. You will pay a little bit more for it, but that's just a better property. And you can see that's when it's classified as an Airbnb plus property. Anyone have any questions about using Airbnb?
And I'll just say sometimes Airbnb, you have the ability to change like at the top where it says anywhere or any week. Like if you have a friend in Shasta and you just know that you want to go visit them, but you don't really care when, you can select flexible dates, and that just will give you a general like price. Yeah, so you can say like I want to go for a week and like just pick like a general time frame, and then you can look at all the different options that are there, because if you search for a specific weekend, some homes might not pop up because they're reserved, but if you're more flexible, then you can check out more options that are out there. They also have
That's
some
good show.
homes. Yeah, and one thing about the cleaning fee is the cleaning fees are usually, I would say probably like over $100, like $100 to $400 depending on the house. But if you do just like book an individual room, it's usually around like $50 or so. Like it's significantly cheaper if you're just doing a room. Okay, and Judy asks, is there a cost to use Airbnb? I don't think so.
No, not a subscription fee. I mean, you're going to pay a fee, like an Airbnb service fee, when you book, but not to access the platform. No.
Yeah, good question, Judy.
And if you really just want to have fun with it, you can search, like from their main page, you can see like they have interesting categories, and it's pretty crazy. Like if you wanted to spend $8,000 a night in Joshua Tree, you can just see all of the absolutely insane properties that are all over the world. It can be kind of fun to look at.
Yeah,
So
those are really fun. I don't think I'll ever book one, but that's something that I like to do sometimes. Of like, oh, where's this? There's this one house in Sweden that my friend keeps sending to me that's like made out entirely. It looks like this house actually. It's made out entirely of glass. It's like built into the side of a mountain.
So cool.
So it's just really cool. I'm never gonna go, but I love to see it.
Yeah. So that's Airbnb. As a supplement to that, there is VRBO. It's been around for a little bit longer than Airbnb, but basically what it is just houses and individual properties. So you don't have an option to stay in someone's room or in a shared kind of setting, VRBO is strictly houses. It actually stands for vacation rentals by owner. So it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but the experience can be a little bit different. And is where they differentiate themselves. So again, let's say I want to go to Palm Springs for my birthday. If I select, let's just say a week, and a little less flexible here. So you do your where, your dates, your number of guests, and you can do the search. And you'll see all of the options in the same kind of manner as Airbnb. So there's the flexibility option where you can see like some places let you cancel, always depends on the owner and the host. But you can see here all of the listings next to a map, and then you can move the map around. So if you wanted to stay somewhere like in a specific area, it would look like that. And you can see these pins are where all of the houses are. And if you click on one, you can see the house, right? So in here, much of the same pictures, a review of the house, and then you can see all the amenities. And then you have the option to request to book. So this will send it to the owner and they're the managing property, and then they can either accept or decline your offer. I don't think VRBO does an instant book. I think it's all like request only. And then you can see it'll all go through the app. You'll say, hey, like this, your stay has been accepted. Your card will be charged X number of dollars. So you can see it's pretty similar to Airbnb, right? The bigger the house, the bigger the cleaning fee. You can see there's $300 for cleaning fee. Service fees are expensive. So if you wanted to stay July 1st to the 8th at this house, it's going to cost you $3,000. And they also have some partnerships with buy now, pay later companies like Affirm, where you could pay per month, or you can stagger out the payments. Like for example, they do this on Airbnb as well, but you can pay like a month at a time leading up to the stay. So you can have those options as well. I have never actually booked through VRBO, but I had friends that have, and it's very similar to Airbnb. No cost to be on the platform or to search, but you'll just pay as part of the booking fee. And you can see here their reviews. Any questions about this one?
No. Yeah, I think a lot of properties are listed on both VRBO and Airbnb. So if you do stick to one platform rather than the other, you might see, or if you're on both platforms, you might see some repeat houses. But I know that's a pretty common thing now for Airbnb hosts to buy a house this happened a lot in Shasta, but to buy a house in Shasta and then use it exclusively as an Airbnb, like it's not renting out a home that's being used year round. And I think that might be a similar trend in VRBO. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I think it's pretty common, except for if you are a plus Airbnb plus, you're not allowed to be on VRBO. I learned that one recently.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right. Interesting. Carla, I see are you searching up Airbnb questions or searching up homes? Oh, you're on mute.
Yes, sort of, because I had actually booked through hotels.com, but I thought, oh, maybe I should be looking at some Airbnbs.
Oh, okay. How did you like hotel.com? Was that helpful for you? Easy to navigate at all?
Yeah, it is. So I go back and forth between booking.com and hotels.com more so than Airbnb. but I have used I mean, I've booked Airbnbs, but I've also used VRBO.
Okay. Did you like your experience with both of them? Do you have one that you prefer, or you like them both?
Actually, I like all of them.
Perfect. You're the ideal customer.
Yes.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions, or should we move on to booking.com? All right. I say we move on.
Do it. This is booking.com. It's one of the many sort of aggregate stay sites, focus more on hotels and inns, although they do have a little bit of access to VRBO, as you will see those properties appear on here, but you will book them through VRBO. We'll stick with the Sonoma because I still need to find a place to stay. It's coming down to the wire. So these dates, and then you can search for that, and then it will come up, and you can see these are all through hotels primarily, right? So these are more established, like inns and such. Let me move this here, and these sites pull multiple different sites together, right? So you'll see, for example, the Fairmont is in here. There's always a Hyatt, and the large hotel groups get shown on this website as well. And very similar, you can look on a map through a specific area, and you can see where all the properties are, and you can zoom in and see. So these are all actual hotels, but once you go more towards the bottom, you may be able to, I think it depends on where you look, but you may be able to see, yeah, for example, this is an Airbnb property that shows up on booking.com. I don't know if it's all of them or if it's something that the owner pays a little bit more for, but sometimes you will see Airbnb properties when you're searching for a specific area, and you'll see on here. And then when you'll do the booking through here, but it's actually an Airbnb property. It's pretty easy to navigate these sites. If we go into here, get some information on the reviews of the site, things like that, what kind of room you would have. You can see here there's only one type of room available, but you might see other rooms, and then you can just reserve here, reserve rooms. And I'm not going to do that quite yet because I'm signed in, and then it'll book it through there. And then you can also use through your profile, you can link in things like Hilton rewards or different Amex style, like credit card based rewards programs. You can have those linked into booking.com, so you get access to those as well. Similar to booking.com is things like kayak.com or hotels tonight. So these are all aggregate sites that pull from a large network of stay sites. Yeah, I keep doing that. So here you can see, this is another one I use, just Kayak. It gives you the option to look for flights, or you could do stays, and you can look in here as well for sites. Let's look at Big Sur. Select your dates. And then search. And again, more based off of hotels than individual properties. So you see all the options here, Best Western, things like that. And then you can just click into each one of them and then book it through the site. There's tons of these available. Booking.com, Kayak, hotels.com, Travelocity, all of them. They pretty much all pull the same information, but they're all competing against each other. So it's good to do multiple searches on each platform and see where you can get the best deal, if that matters to you. Because all of the large major hotels that come up in here, they're going to come up on all of the large platforms as well. Any questions about these sites? I want to stay here. Shoot.
Yeah, that looks awesome. Yeah, I think it's I know you can also search by amenities in like Airbnb and VRBO, and sometimes you can search for like, oh, I only want to stay somewhere that has a hot tub, which is, I mean, if you can do that, I recommend doing it because it's awesome. But I think you can do the same with booking.com and hotels.com, and you're probably more likely to find options with hotel amenities when you're booking in the hotel websites. But some like nicer Airbnbs, my friend stayed at one that had a sauna, so they've got all types of cool stuff out there. Oh, Judy said, how is hotels.com related to all these?
Hotels.com is very similar to like booking.com or Expedia, where they're just aggregate sites that look at multiple hotel networks. So all of the major ones and the smaller ones all post their availability on those websites. So they're more of an aggregate, whereas the Airbnb is just specific to that site. So like on Expedia here, you can see there's like Virgin Hotels, there's IHG, there's Hyatt, there's some smaller like boutique ones as well. So more of a site that pulls them all together. But you won't see like Airbnb properties on here. This is primarily used for hotels and smaller inns.
And then last minute booking, is that only hotels? Or what was that platform called?
Oh, Hotels Tonight.
Mhm.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's called hotels.
Yeah,
I forget about that one. It's a good one. I forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, not
it's-
familiar with this at all.
it's cool if you like need a place. It's kind of you get the most out of it within like 24 hours of needing a place to stay. So like if I go skiing in Tahoe and like I'm not sure if I'm going to stay, like I'll look a couple hours before the end of the day and it's like, oh, you can get a hotel room for $30 a night. That wasn't normally like $150, but they just happen to have extra availability and they want to put up for sale. So it's super cheap, but it's a little bit, once you start to like book farther out, then it's more of the same as like booking.com, things like that, where it's just an aggregate site, but the deals are not as big. It's only for instant bookings the night of kind of thing.
Mhm.
That makes sense by the name of the platform. Does anyone have any general travel questions? There's also new platforms you can search on to book flights, as we very briefly addressed with Kayak and Expedia. There's also car rentals. I don't know if anyone uses Zipcar in the city, but you can now do multiple day Zipcar reserves. I think they're a little bit more expensive. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, if anyone has any general travel or tech related questions, now is a great time to get an answer.
Thank you for viewing this Next Village video recording. We hope you enjoyed it. Please help us spread the word and tell friends and neighbors about Next Village events and services for seniors and adults with disabilities in San Francisco. Visit our website to learn more about our vibrant, growing network, as well as to view our calendar of upcoming Zoom and in-person events and activities in San Francisco. Our website is nextvillagesf.org. Contact us to join our email list to learn about events and resources for seniors in San Francisco. And subscribe to the Next Village YouTube channel by clicking the button below.